Welcome, dear listener. I hope you're sitting comfortably and ready to enjoy a tale that sparkles with the chill of winter, but the warmth of longing. Today, I will tell you the story of the Snowman, a profound tale that reminds us of the beauty of curiosity, the fleeting nature of life, and the bittersweet emotions that come with desire and impermanence. It's a story that will touch your heart and leave you with a sense of wonder. So, settle in, relax, breathe, and let's begin. The Snowman by Hans Christian Andersen, adapted as a story to relax to and read by Donaldson. On a crisp winter morning, a fresh blanket of snow covered the ground, sparkling like diamonds under the pale sunlight. Children rushed outside, their laughter ringing in the air as they threw snowballs and built snowmen. In the middle of a garden, one such snowman stood tall, his round body perfectly shaped, and his head topped with an old hat. A carrot served as his nose, and pebbles were arranged into a crooked smile. His coal-black eyes seemed to shine with life, gazing curiously at the world around him. As the evening fell and the first stars appeared in the sky, the snowman felt a strange sensation, as though he were waking up for the first time. He looked around the frosty garden. His breath, if he could call it that, created an invisible chill in the icy air. He was filled with wonder at the stillness of the night, broken only by the occasional bark of a dog or the crunch of boots on snow. Near the gate, a lively old watchdog stirred in his kennel, the warmth of his hay bed keeping him cozy despite the freezing temperature. The snowman, noticing the dog for the first time, felt an urge to speak. Although he had no voice of his own, he sensed that he could communicate. The dog, who had seen many snowmen come and go, seemed to understand this unspoken language. The watchdog told the snowman about the world he had watched from his kennel. He explained how the seasons changed, describing the green of spring, the warmth of summer, and the golden leaves of autumn. The snowman listened intently, fascinated, but unable to imagine anything beyond the cold whiteness of winter. The watchdog, sensing the snowman's wonder, mentioned the cozy warmth of the house nearby. He explained how humans gathered inside by the fireplace, its flames flickering and glowing. The dog described the comfort of the heat, the way it warmed the bones and soothed the soul. At this, the snowman's coal eyes seemed to glisten with a yearning he could not quite understand. He felt an inexplicable longing to experience the warmth for himself. The snowman asked, with an unspoken tilt of his icy head, what this fire was like. The dog, amused by the snowman's curiosity, warned him that fire, though beautiful, was dangerous to beings like him. It could melt him into nothingness. Despite the warning, the snowman found himself enchanted by the idea of the glowing flames. He stared longingly at the house, imagining what it would be like to bask in the warmth. The night passed slowly, the snowman standing silently in the garden while the dog dozed in his kennel. As the sun rose, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, the snowman noticed that the house's windows had frosted over, creating intricate patterns of ice. He admired their beauty, thinking they resembled the stars he had seen the night before. Later that day, the children came running into the garden again, their cheeks rosy from the cold. They laughed and played, throwing snowballs and adding touches to the snowman, giving him a scarf and even reshaping his smile. The snowman felt a fleeting happiness as they admired their work. Yet, as they returned indoors to the warmth, he was left with his longing once more. The watchdog, observing the snowman's melancholy, tried to distract him by sharing tales of his life. He spoke of the joy of running through fields in his youth, chasing butterflies and guarding the farm. He also spoke of the harshness of winter nights and the comfort he now found in his kennel. However, no matter how vivid the stories, the snowman's thoughts drifted back to the fire within the house. As the days went by, the snowman noticed something strange. The sun, though weak, seemed to linger longer in the sky, and the air felt slightly less biting. The snow in the garden began to change, becoming softer underfoot. The children, too, visited less often, their games growing shorter before they hurried back inside. The watchdog explained that winter was slowly giving way to spring. He told the snowman that his time was limited, as snowmen could not survive the warmth of the changing season. The snowman listened, but found himself unafraid. His thoughts were consumed by the fire. He felt as though he had lived for that one purpose, to understand the mysterious warmth he had only heard about. One morning, as the sun shone brighter than it had in weeks, the snowman began to notice his own body changing. His edges softened, and droplets of water formed on his surface. He felt a strange sensation of lightness, as if he were fading away. The watchdog watched sadly, knowing what was happening. He tried to comfort the snowman, reminding him of the joy he had brought to the children and the beauty of his brief existence. Yet the snowman seemed at peace. He gazed at their house one last time, imagining the fire he had never seen but always longed for. As the sun climbed higher, the snowman slowly melted, his scarf sinking into a puddle that glittered in the sunlight. By evening, only the remains of the snowman were left, a hat, a carrot, and a few scattered pebbles. The watchdog, now alone in the garden, sighed deeply. He thought about the snowman's life, so brief, yet filled with wonder and yearning. He imagined the snowman's spirit, perhaps carried away by the melting snow, to some place where he might finally find the warmth he had sought. The children, noticing the snowman's absence, felt a pang of sadness, but they soon returned to their games, their laughter filling the garden once more. The seasons would change, and snow would return, and another snowman would take his place. But for the watchdog, the memory of this snowman lingered, a reminder of fleeting beauty and the eternal cycle of life. The end.